Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show y'all how to um, put together an external hard drive with an SSD. So what we've got today is we've got a Samsung SSD. This is the Evo 860 series, and then also we're going to be using a external hard drive enclosure. This one is actually made by Inland, and it's a USB 3.0 style enclosure. When you're buying it, so always check. This one is showing 3.0. Uh, if you get one that's going to say 2.0, it's going to be slower. And so I would at least get a 3.0. If possible, you can always get the 3.1, which is going to be either more fast. But in what we're doing, the Evo, this one is actually using the 2.5 inch laptop style form factor, which would have a maximum transfer speed of around 550 megabytes per second, which with a USB 3.0, it's going to basically provide enough bandwidth to where we really aren't going to be gaining that much speed if we're using a USB 3.1. USB 3.1, it will run a theoretical speed of 2,400 megabits or megabytes per second. So with this SSD of doing a max of 560, it's kind of overkill for what we're doing right now. Supplies we're going to need is basically the drive, of course, and then the enclosure. The enclosure, I picked this one because it's got a aluminum case, and whenever you're using the hard drive, it is going to generate heat. Uh, a lot of the hard drives, the enclosures themselves, they will actually have a plastic enclosure, which is not too good at dissipating heat. That's why I picked this one with the aluminum case. Tool wise, all we're going to need is maybe some screwdrivers like we've got right here. Some of the enclosures are actually screwless, so let's get on with this and see what we've got here. So first off, let's unpack everything out. So this is the solid state drive made by Samsung. The good thing about these SSDs compared to if you're using a regular hard drive is that these are solid state. The regular ones, which would be like this, yes, they are the same size, but this older style mechanical drive has actually got disk inside. So as far as if you're using it in a portable enclosure like this, it's kind of not too good if you're getting a lot of shock or if you any vibrations, it will actually cause problems with the discs themselves. So with this, since everything is solid state, basically all the chips and everything are on the drive itself. So you could shake this, no problem. You won't have to worry about memory loss, data loss. And if you look at the actual drive, these are actually, the connections are the same. So we've got one of these is for the power, the other one's for the data. And it's the same on the regular mechanical drive. So these are going to be interchangeable as far as putting these together. So any of these enclosures that will work with the regular 2.5 inch mechanical drive will definitely work with the solid state drive. The enclosures usually come with the enclosure themselves. Looks like this one comes with a handy screwdriver, some screws, and then this is the data cable that you'll use for when you're hooking the drive up to there, and the other end goes into the USB port. A good thing to know for reference, anything that will support USB 3.0, this USB slot right here is going to be blue. while the regular 2.0 specs, this blue part is going to be a black color. The enclosure itself is actually quite simple. So you've got this aluminum enclosure, and then you've got this part which has got the circuit board. This circuit board will basically be how you hook the hard drive up to there, and after that is hooked up, you've got the 2 screws which hold it into the enclosure itself. As far as installing this, it's quite simple. Match up these connectors with these right here. So you'll notice one is actually long and one's short, and you'll just match it up like so. Don't need to put a lot of pressure in there. As long as you hear that nice click, that will mean that you're actually set, it's mounted correctly. There is no way to actually get it to mount the other way due to the physical differences of the connectors themselves. So just let's do it from this angle. Pop it in there. Once you hear that nice click, you're good to go. And this just slides right on in. And after that, it's slid in there. We've got these 2 screws. This kit actually came with an extra one, so in case you accidentally drop one and you've got a spare one. When we're putting these screws in there, keep in mind that when you're screwing the screws in, when you turn to the right, it's going to actually make it tight, and turn to the left, it's going to be loose. So once we've got this in there, we're going to be turning it to the right, and you'll see the screws going in there like it's supposed to. And don't screw this one in all the way. What I like to do is I get it maybe little less than hand tight, where you're starting to feel resistance, and then screw the other one in. That way we've got these screws on there evenly tightened, and once you get this one in there tight, so we've got that, it's kind of snug, let's go back and put this one on there like so. Couldn't be easier. That's basically it. So what we'll need to do now, we'll take the cable. These cables only go in one way. If you look at this, you can't really flip it over and use it, inspect it to physically plug into the slot. So that just plugs in like so, and you're good to go. The only thing left to do is grab a computer and plug it in, and what we'll need to do is format the unit so it'll be ready to use on the computer. Once we are done putting together the enclosure, the next thing we need to do is we need to have a computer ready, and we're going to need to format the hard drive, that basically the SSD, before it can be used to save any data on there. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to take the enclosure, use the provided cable, and we need to plug that into here. If you look right here, the cable will actually go in one direction. So physically it's going to be impossible to put it in upside down and plug that into there, because it physically will not fit. So after that, we're going to need to plug it up into the back of the computer on your USB ports. Remember I said earlier, USB 3.0 is going to be in, you'll see this part right here is going to be blue, like this. If your computer does not have USB 3.0, so this blue part is going to be black, it will still work. It just will not be able to get the full data transfer speeds of the USB 3. So this cable is also will only go in one way. So if you plug it in, it doesn't go in, then you'll just need to flip it around and plug it in that way. Once you plug it in, you may notice on certain drives like this one, it's got the lights showing that you're getting data or it's getting power going through it. We will go into File Manager, which is right here. If you look right there, you'll see File or File Explorer. Click on that. And then we're just going to go to this PC, right click on it, and go to Manage. Once that opens up, we're going to click on Disk Management under Storage. It's going to pop up this window telling you you're going to need to partition the disk before you're going to be able to use it. You see that it's got two selections. There's going to be the master boot record or the one that's currently highlighted, which is GUID partition table. The master boot record is actually a older version or older style of partitioning the disk that it'll still work if you run it this way on Windows 8 and up. If you want to keep that disk where it's usable on older operating systems such as Windows 95, Windows XP, then put it on this master boot record. If not, let's just put it on the GUID partition table and just click OK. And you'll notice that disk is actually right down here. And after that is done, let's see if that's showing up. So it's not showing up on here yet. You will see that the disk is right there. What we're going to do is we're going to go up to this disk, point to it with your pointer, right click, and then let's create new simple volume. And that brings up the wizard. Click next. And this will basically show if you want this one physical drive here to show up as multiple disk drives instead of just one drive, then you will have the ability to go right here and format it however you want. So right now, since we just want this to be one big drive, we're just going to leave it at the default. So this is a 1 terabyte drive, and usually after you format it, it's not going to show up as 1 terabyte. It's going to be a little bit less. That's why we've got the 953740 right here. So if you wanted to be different drives, separate drives, you can put in right here how big you want that drive to be. So if you want it to be 2 different drives, then we can put in, like, let's say a 500 gig drive. We'll just clear that out and put in 500, 500,000. That's going to be 500 gigs. And then click next, and then you can make another drive with whatever the remainder is, which is going to be another 500. So we're just going to click next. And this is basically what you want to assign that drive as. Let's put it as drive D. It really doesn't matter. And just click next. This is what file system you want it to be. If you look at the selections here, you've got exFAT and MTFX. Either one will work, but I usually keep it on NTFX. NTFX, I mean, it's more useful when you're using a Windows-based computer. If you think that later on you might need to use it on a Mac, then you can put it on exFAT and it'll be usable on both devices. So if you have it on NTFX, A Mac will actually be able to read it, but I don't believe it'll be able to write. So let's click on NTFX. If you want to call it something else, I'll just make this as storage. And these two, you can just keep it like it is. I usually don't use this folder file compression, so I just put it on quick format, click next, and just click finish. And once it finishes formatting, see how it shows up right here as drive D. Here we go. After that's formatted, it comes out to 931 gigs. So your drive is now ready to be used. You can just click into the here, drag and drop your files into it, and that's it. And basically that is how you take an SSD drive, put it in a hard drive enclosure, and to get everything formatted and up and running on a computer. Thanks for watching my video. Keep checking back. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.